This week's tip of the week is about typography, and this is off the back of a post I put up last week about really bad typography. And I just wanted to walk through with you why it's bad typography and what makes good and bad typography. Now, to do that, I'm just going to share my screen with you. How to upset your designer friends and give them a migraine. Look at the state of this. Why is it so bad? Well, let's have a look at this word spacing here. How to is all jumbled together. You need to have equal spacing between all of your words. And also you need to have equal spacing between the letters in your words. Now, most fonts will do this for you. So you just type and all the letters are well spaced. But actually, if you're looking to design a logo or something, sometimes you just need to tweak the spacing between the letters. Another thing to look at when you're dealing with type is the spacing between the lines. So as you can see here, the line spacing isn't big enough to allow for the descending type and the ascending type to have its own space. So these two have collided quite tragically in the middle here. And the spacing is not even. So this is bigger than this, and then you've got this, and then you've got a big space here. So yeah, it just makes sure that your line spacing is even, your letter spacing is even, and your word spacing is even. or else I will get upset, essentially. And you need to make sure that you don't end up with these big sort of rivers running through your text. If you can see this space here between these words is causing some kind of big river to form. What else is wrong with this? Well, also the alignment of the type. So here a migraine is starting not at the beginning. Now, this is an exaggeration of bad spacing. Sometimes words kind of just come in a little bit, but it is something you need to look out for to make sure that if you're going to left align something, make sure it's all left aligned. Similarly, if you're going to have something center aligned, make sure it's all center aligned, because it just gives a nice consistency. What else is wrong with this? Well, look at this logo, my beloved logo. What have I done to it? I've squished it so that it's I've been trodden on, essentially. Always take care of your logo. Always ensure that it's in the right proportions, so the right ratios, so that you don't get this horrible distortion, because when you do that to your logo, it's not your logo anymore. And then finally, this thing here, which is like almost apologetically on the page, it's not really there, is it? It's kind of just stuck on without any thought to symmetry or style or any consideration. It was just, oh, I need that at the end, I'll plonk it on there. But here I've redone things and rejigged it a bit to show you something so much more visually appealing. I mean, it's not perfect, but you see how we've used the text now is, I've made it a regular font, and just to show you that you can still do things with the font. For example, here I've used to make happy stand out a bit more. I've italicized it, so I've used the italic font, still the regular but in an italic, so that just gives it that little bit of personality. It gives it that little bit of exclamation in its own right. And here, where I've said, oh, now that's better, it says, now that's better. And it says that because I've put it in capitals, I've made it bold, still in the same font family, so still in the same typeface, but I've given it more emphasis because the capitals help to give it more of a shout out, even though this text is smaller than this, so it's more of a byline, it's still got impact, and it's still got that essence of, yeah, now this is something important to say. And I've given the emoji here its own space. So I've taken the text, I've moved it to the side of it, so now it kind of belongs as part of the design. And my logo, wow, phew, back to its former glory. And also with this design, you have a sense of balance. So you've got an image on the right, you've got an image on the left, and they kind of even themselves out so that when you look at the page, nothing really looks too heavy and too wonky, askew with or just over to one side. So I hope that helps. And enjoy typography, be playful, be experimental, but also be mindful that things need to be very easily legible, because essentially the function of type is that people need to be able to read it. They need to be able to pick up points easily. They need to be able to see at a glance what they want to read, what's important, what's not. So if you're going to be playful, that's fine, but stick to one font or two fonts. Stick to some really nice alignment, some really lovely symmetry if you can, and yeah, just be careful and mindful about all your spacing. And I hope that helps. I shall see you next week.